Just in, Princess Leonor's surprise appearance stuns King Willem-Alexander. Europe reacts. A Dutch king. A royal summit. Protocol planned to the second. Then she appeared, uninvited, unannounced, and everything changed. Princess Leonor didn't come to observe. She came to lead. It began with silence, the kind that falls over a grand room when something utterly unexpected happens. In The Hague, where European monarchs had gathered for a quiet, high-level summit, protocol reigned supreme. Seating arrangements, entrances, diplomatic greetings, everything was set. Precise. Predictable. Until Princess Leonor walked in. She wasn't on the list. She wasn't in the schedule. But there she was, walking with deliberate poise into the Ridderzaal, where King Willem-Alexander of the Netherlands had just opened the private roundtable on the future of European constitutional monarchies. What followed was not chaos. It was tension. Controlled, polite, royal tension. Eyes darted. Advisors whispered. And at the center of it all stood Leonor, heir to the Spanish throne, wearing a navy ensemble that echoed both her military training and her regal stature. No one expected her, especially not King Willem-Alexander. The Dutch monarch, known for his calm composure, visibly paused. He wasn't offended. He wasn't angry. But he was stunned. Because Leonor's appearance sent a message, one that hadn't been announced, but was heard loud and clear. Spain is ready to lead. But the question that spread like wildfire behind palace walls and across Europe's newsrooms was simple. Why? Why would Princess Leonor insert herself into a private, invitation-only summit of ruling monarchs and senior heirs? And why now? To answer that, we need to go back to what's been building behind the scenes. In recent months, Spain's monarchy has been at a critical crossroads. With King Felipe VI growing older and Queen Letizia subtly stepping back from regular appearances, the burden of public representation has gradually shifted onto Leonor. She's completed her military training. She's delivered official speeches in multiple languages. She's become one of the most closely watched royals in Europe. But still, always as the heir, the observer, the learner. This appearance changed that. What many don't know is that Leonor had been quietly invited to a preliminary session of the summit weeks earlier. Not to speak, not to lead, but to sit in a side room, to be seen without being heard. It was a common practice for young royals, especially heirs to the throne. But Leonor declined. She didn't want to watch from the sidelines. Sources close to Zarzuela Palace say Leonor was frustrated by the continued underestimation of her capabilities, especially in contrast to her Northern European counterparts, Crown Princess Catharina Amalia of the Netherlands and Crown Prince Christian of Denmark, who had been taking on more visible leadership roles in their respective monarchies. Leonor felt it was time. So she made a decision. Quiet, strategic, bold. She boarded a military aircraft on short notice, escorted by only 2 aides and 1 Spanish security official. No press, no royal fanfare, just purpose. She arrived in The Hague on the morning of the summit's second day. And just as King Willem-Alexander began his opening remarks, she entered the room, not asking for permission, only acknowledging tradition with a slight bow. There was a moment of stillness. Then the king invited her forward. And that's when Leonor did something no one expected. She asked to speak. The room shifted, not in resistance, but in curiosity. What would the 19-year-old heir say in front of Europe's most seasoned monarchs? Leonor spoke for exactly 7 minutes. No script, no translator, flawless Dutch, then English, then a closing statement in Spanish. She spoke of unity, not between nations, but between generations of monarchs. She acknowledged the fading relevance of the crown in a modern world and challenged her peers not to protect tradition for tradition's sake, but to adapt it with courage and transparency. She didn't ask for applause. But she got it. King Willem-Alexander stood first. Then Queen Margrethe. Then, astonishingly, King Philippe of Belgium, known for his reserve. Leonor took her seat, no longer as an observer, but as a royal peer. That moment went viral in hours, despite the summit's confidential nature. Footage leaked. Aides whispered. Soon, news outlets across Europe were quoting anonymous sources from inside the room. The phrase they kept repeating. She changed everything. But it wasn't just the monarchs who reacted. Spain erupted. Social media exploded with pride. For a country that has often felt politically fractured and socially divided, seeing their future queen rise to international recognition, on her own terms, was deeply emotional. Even Republicans, typically opposed to the monarchy, acknowledged something rare: authenticity. Meanwhile, Dutch media began asking another question: had King Willem-Alexander been blindsided or inspired? Reports suggest the king invited Leonor to join the closed-door working group the next day, a signal that her voice was not only heard, but needed. Privately, the Spanish royal house released no statement. Publicly, they posted a single photo: Leonor standing beside the Dutch king, both smiling, both relaxed. But the significance of that image sent a clear signal: this wasn't an accident. It was the beginning of a new phase. And the timing couldn't be more crucial. European monarchies are facing mounting pressure to modernize. Youth engagement is dropping. Public trust fluctuates. Financial transparency is under scrutiny. And the next generation of royals must either rise or fade. Leonor chose to rise. But there's more to this than leadership. Beneath the public triumph, there are private tensions. Insiders say Queen Letizia had advised caution. She reportedly wanted Leonor to wait, to build alliances quietly before asserting herself on the international stage. But Leonor disagreed, not in rebellion, but in confidence. She's no longer a princess preparing for the throne. She's a woman stepping into power. And while King Felipe supports her, he is said to be concerned about what this bold move could provoke. Old royal families don't always welcome change, especially when it comes from a young woman breaking protocol. Already, whispers from the British royal press suggest discomfort. Comparisons are being made to Princess Diana's early independence, and how the firm resisted her rise. But Leonor isn't navigating a family divided. She's walking into a continent watching. And watching closely. Back in The Hague, the summit concluded with a joint statement, one that included, for the first time, Princess Leonor's name. Not as a guest. Not as a trainee. As a contributor. What happens next is unclear. Will Leonor be invited to future summits officially? Will she be given more diplomatic responsibilities outside Spain? Or will her assertiveness trigger backlash from more conservative royal circles? What is clear is this: Leonor's surprise appearance wasn't just about showing up. It was about showing who she really is. A future queen not waiting to inherit, but already starting to lead. And in the eyes of King Willem-Alexander, and all of Europe, she's not a child of the crown anymore. She's a force shaping its future.